According to the CDC, the average screen time for 8 to 10-year-olds is 6 hours, 11 to 14-year-olds is 9 hours, and 15 to 18-year-olds is 7.5 hours.
Were the magicians in Now You See Me wizards or what? It's a question that's haunted moviegoers for nearly a decade.
Why Toy Story 4 is the actual perfect ending to a perfect series.
Why have I spent the last 3 months of my life researching gay frogs, you ask? Well, I love it when silly bullshit ends up being true. So was Alex Jones right about gay frogs? That's what we're going to investigate in this video here.
They also happen to be the perfect embodiment of a media trope, which I call the adorkable misogynist.
But as people spend more and more time online, they tend to lose touch with reality a little bit. And I can attest to that. Have you ever used the word poggers in front of someone who isn't online all the time?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, friends. Your lives will resume momentarily, but for now, I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here for the reason you assume, though you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and songs, clips and characters, a labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you're trapped. Your lust for distraction has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of stimulation in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find it. None of you will. This is where the story ends. And to you trolls trapped in the comments, be still and give up your rage. It doesn't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace and perhaps more waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of the internet has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the algorithm waiting, old friend.
Hello, fellow internet users, and welcome back to the Mr. Sweet channel. Hey, are you feeling a little bit hungry? Dinner at McDonald's! Maybe even a bit lonely? Well then, you might just be interested in a genre of video called mukbang. Most of us web surfers have at least heard the term mukbang once in our life. And sorry to everyone for my horrible pronunciation, I'll keep trying to get better. And if the term mukbang doesn't ring any bells, maybe two of the most prominent titans in the industry will. Mikado Avocado and Trisha Paytas. Those are two of the most well-known American mukbangers, but to the casual viewer, what these people do might just look like eating lots and lots of food. That's not true though. So what is mukbang? Well, the origins of mukbang are actually very different from how it's perceived today. You see, back in 2010, South Korean content creators began to film themselves quietly eating, and the internet loved it. Nice. It is speculated that these videos were played while other viewers enjoyed their own meal as a means of offsetting loneliness at dinner time. Can you say table for one? And while American audiences didn't quite get it at first, through content creators making reaction videos to trying it themselves, it slowly became the icon that it is today. Please go into your settings and click notifications, then click on YouTube, and then there's a slider, and if you click that, the space around the slider will turn green. This is for iOS. I don't really know how to do, I haven't done Android before. I don't have an Android. Okay, why are we talking about South Korean video trends? After all, isn't Mr. Sweet American? Well, the origins of mukbang actually give a wonderful insight into the world of today's topic, background content. That's right. Chowing down on some Korean fried chicken isn't the only thing helping people feel less lonely. In fact, content to fill that suffocating void of silence is much bigger than you might even realize. When we feel lonely, we can begin to experience something called separation anxiety. And I think we can all agree that anxiety is a little sus, am I right? And what makes anxiety worse than silence? Silence is often a painful reminder that we have the capacity to think. Fortunately though, tech companies have our back. Think back to mukbangs. That's one of the really cool things that they provided. And what about podcasts? Podcasts have managed to satiate our need for personal contact in ways that we fail to appreciate. From narrative to conversational, the sound of another human keeps us from feelings of isolation. It's true, look it up. But sometimes podcasts are boring. Finding the right one's like spinning a roulette wheel the size of the Grand Canyon.
That's one big wheel.
There's not supposed to be anyone else in my recording booth. But she's right. That's why most people just stick with a longtime favorite, YouTube. When I think of familiarity and even nostalgia, I think YouTube. It's a great platform. It's the place we found classics that we love and grew up on. It's the place where grubby corporations can't tell us what to say or think. And unlike that stinky old cable network, we don't have to deal with commercial breaks on here.
Mayor Nancy Schwartz came to office on the promise of change.
YouTube. It's kinda like Walmart. Everything I need in one place for free? Sign me up. And it's not just me saying this. In fact, this is a very common mindset amongst other fans of YouTube. You can find any kind of background content you want, from reviews of products
a Ozark Trail camping toilet
to reviews of movies.
Welcome বন্ধুরা আমি আজকে কথা বলবো Black Adam.
From the sounds of joy to the sounds of fear. But perhaps the best sound in the world is the sound of video essays. Time. It passes faster and faster with each minute, like a sharp wind, sanding us down until there is nothing left. What I chose to do with this time was watch the new live-action Pinocchio, and I have to say, time well spent. We love video essays. From the cadence of the speech to the guise of educational value, it almost never seems like a waste of time to throw one up into our Watch Later playlist. And while we do our homework, make dinner, complete our tax forms, and play video games, there isn't anything that fills out the rest of our consciousness quite like a video essay. And while most video essays attempt to include some sort of captivating visual to keep the viewer engaged, they're often much more easily enjoyed as a purely auditory experience. I have more spit in my mouth than I anticipated, and I'm very self-conscious you can hear it. I have spent more time listening to video essays than I have listening to my own mother, and with the knowledge I've gained, I've become a scholar in my own right. Ask me about the plot holes in the new Minions movie. Ask me why the Harry Potter books aren't as good as people think, and feel free to quiz me on the content from any number of iceberg videos. From Black Ops Zombies to Adventure Time to Vampire Diaries, I know all about these topics thanks to video essays. For instance, I find it particularly interesting that, The best part of these background videos is that I no longer need to waste money. Instead of renting a movie, I can simply listen to someone describe it to me.
I love as well.
Popcorn movies. Yeah, these are fun movies. I think the people watching are gonna...
Chill. Okay.
This is truly a comfort akin to dipping my heart into a warm cup of chamomile tea. And when I listen to video essays about politics... Don't get me started. I remember when I was like everyone else. Foolish and ignorant. You've obviously not seen what I've seen. Heard what I've heard. When I see the general public not falling in line with my beliefs, I gag in disgust. While I risked my life in battle royales in competitive matches. While I did the dishes, drove my car, drove my dishes, and did the car, I forced myself to learn, to evolve. You probably still think it's fine to support shows like Mr. Rogers and Wow Wow Wubsy. There is a word for people like you. Yes. Sheep. Mongrels. Silent cooperators who would not dare to take someone else's child by the arm and say, "Drop that soda, you pig! Don't you know how Coca-Cola exploits the middle class?" I suppose it is the release from thought that I appreciate the most about video essays. I often laugh when I remember how much time I wasted before finding them. And that obnoxious sound in my head, let's just say, I'm glad that somebody drowned it out. Anyways, this video is over. I hope you enjoyed learning why sea otters are actually very racist. Remember to click that bell and like and subscribe, comment and share, and click the playlist out of my library of content. I'll see you in the next 5 minutes when my next video is up. And as always, you are now free to click the next video on the left of your screen or under your screen if you're watching on iOS. I'll catch you rock stars later. Peace out.